Welcome to Bloody Good Horror, covering the best and worst of the horror genre since Halloween 2007. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting spooky season episode of Bloody Good Horror. I'm so excited I just accidentally turned the intro music up too loud. But don't worry, I fixed it. My name's Eric, I'm the host of the show. Joining me tonight, first up, it's spooky season. He's back in the house. I couldn't be happier. His name is John Schnars.
Hello, Eric.
How's it going, John?
It's good. I was here last week, wasn't I?
No,
I wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Next up on the show, coming to you from Hotlanta, Georgia. If you were lucky enough to be on the pre-show here, you got a literal tour of her house, which was really amazing. Please welcome Cece to the show.
Hello. I don't know that amazing would have been the term I used, but thank you.
Yeah. And last up tonight, joining me on the show, Chief Youngin. Chief, she'll be representing the Whippersnapper contingent tonight. Member of the new class. Her name is Sophie.
Hey guys, I feel like we established in the pre-show that I'm not that plugged into what the Whippersnappers are doing these days, but I will do my damnedest.
It's a sliding scale.
Is it because of all your dating? Is that why you're not plugged in?
Yeah. Oh yeah, solid 80%, 85 honestly.
We are here tonight to talk about Flatliners. John, you'd think if you were going to make a movie this aggressively mediocre, you wouldn't name it something so on the nose as Flatliners.
Spoiler alert for the review, Eric? Come on.
Yeah. So
it's sitting at a... Did you guys see what the Rotten Tomatoes score is, by the way?
Oh, no.
We can just get into it.
No,
sitting at a 3.
What?
3.
I believe.
Wow.
I believe at the point I was sitting in a theater on Saturday, it was at 0. So Armand White must have gotten his hands on it.
I'm gonna check it while we're talking, but yeah. So good times.
Oh, you know what though, and I'll put it up in the video here because I snagged it. This movie did give us Kiefer Sutherland in a gray-haired wig, which I'm pretty into.
With a cane. Please don't leave out the cane. This
Yeah.
is true.
Wait, are we sure that was a wig? Why
It-
was
That was absolutely a wig.
That looked pretty fucking...
I hope it was.
That looked pretty fucking wiggy to me, if I have to say.
He definitely looked wiggy, that's for sure. Oh my god.
Kiefer. What else we got going on, John? I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things. So we are T-minus. Well, as of the day we're recording, we're T-minus 18 days from the Bloody Good Horror 10-year anniversary Back to Spooky School Spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just renaming it as I go here. We're really excited. We're also a little nervous because there's a lot of work to get done, and we may or may not have gotten all of it. Or we're in good shape, but we're not in great shape. But we're super pumped. There's a lot of BGHers have been hitting us up to let us know they're going to be there. So we're excited to see some folks, people in and around the Milwaukee area, and some folks coming in from far and wide. So it's going to be a really wacky and fun weekend.
I have seen a really encouraging amount of people that are making the trip or live in the area and are going to make it out, and it's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah. So that you can get your tickets by going to bloodygoodhorror.com and clicking on the old banner there right at the top. You can also just Google search Back to Spooky School, and it will take you to our Eventbrite page, and you can get hooked up there. Eric, very excited because we now have officially acquired a Square credit card swiper.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to be accepting credit cards at the door. I was a little worried we were going to be a cash at the door
business.
situation only, but...
Can we sell, like, Joe lap dances with that?
Two. Yeah. Whatever you can dream, we can sell.
Yeah,
it.
but you don't swipe for that in the square. You swipe for that somewhere else.
Uh-oh.
You know what?
Oh, boy.
You know what that is, Schnars? That's the wonder of capitalism.
Oh man.
I was very excited. It was a big acquisition for us.
Wow, look at your soccer mom-esque wine glass there.
That's impressive.
This is just actually like a regular wine glass. I don't
That's
know what
like
it has to do with soccer.
You're gonna hang out and watch your stories and take a bath because you can't anymore. You just can't.
You weren't here. I was explaining to Sophie pre-show that we had a little more than one glass of wine, but not quite 2 glasses. So I just took it all.
You do you,
So here
man.
we-
You know,
85%.
it's spooky season, Schnars. You do what you want.
Yeah, no, I will. Don't worry.
No, I will.
John, we had a discussion pre-show. Can you walk me through the upcoming schedule for Bloody Good Horror?
Oh, God damn it. Of course, I don't have it in front of me.
The
So
schedule.
we have an open week coming in that there is actually nothing in the theater this coming weekend. We had a very brief email discussion, and I think we've landed on the fact that we are going to watch Cult of Chucky. I don't know, is it number like 7? Do you guys know?
No.
No, it's only like 4.
Bride. So
Right?
Bride would have
Yeah.
been 4. So you got 1, 2, 3.
Seed.
Oh, I was
Bride,
thinking new. Sorry. You're right.
Bride, Seed, is Curse the last one? And
Yeah,
then this
so
is
it's
Cult.
7.
This is
Yeah.
Cult of Chucky. It's called 7.
Yeah. So yeah, it just was released on Netflix this week, so very excited there. Some good buzz on the Slack channels. If you guys have been seeing that, so I'm excited to check it out. We're gonna watch that this week. We have a big week. The following week is the release of The Snowman, which I think we're all very excited for. We can maybe get into that. But
we're gonna get into it.
Boo 2. Boo 2 Medea Halloween, or I don't know what the subtitle is. And then the film I've been rooting for, and I just don't think it's going to happen for us, but Geostorm.
Yeah. No thanks.
Very excited.
Here's
for
what's
this.
great is like if it was any other time of year, I'd be like, fuck it, let's watch Geostorm. But it seems like I might make an argument for Boo too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
oh, sorry.
I would take that
actually-
over Geostorm.
I did skip. Sorry, the 13th is Happy Death Day, so that's actually after Cult of Chucky. Then we'll move into Snowman territory, and then a Medea Halloween 2 is actually what it's called. Not no Boo 2.
That trailer for Happy Death Day or whatever has made me hate that damn 50 Cent song more than I ever thought I could hate a song. Because
Concur.
because like we're in the
Yeah.
theater every week and I got to see that full like 3-minute trailer and just go shawty, it's your birthday, like over and it's like if you see that trailer once, it's a really great audio cue and sets up the thing of like the day repeating, but it's like I've seen the trailer in the theater like 20 times now.
Bow bow.
It's
How
too
much do you think we would need to pay the production company to replace all of the use of that song with you guys singing that song?
You got
Oh,
it,
we'll
right?
get Joe. Come on, we'll get Joe to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna that 1 week with the multiple releases. We'll have to kind of debate that a little bit, but yeah.
Well, what we will not be debating is October 27th,
Saw,
the return, Jigsaw.
comma
aka
jig.
Saw 8. Yeah. So it's not in 3D. Real miss there, I think. Unless maybe it is. I actually don't know.
I mean, I'm kind of happy that it's not in 3D.
There
We
was
certainly don't want to pay those 3D prices.
there was one that
Well,
was.
that's true.
I don't know if it was the last one, but there was one that was in 3D.
No, it was the final one. That was called Saw
was?
3D. Yeah. It was real bad, if I recall.
Well,
Yeah.
because if you remember, and we talked about it extensively, but like the amount that they had to get up their own ass to retcon each of those movies to make it make any sense, and it still didn't. It was
Yeah.
kind of unbelievable. But I also remember like there being a certain beauty to the nonsense of it all, of the way that they just kept retroactively being like, well, actually, Jigsaw also had 12 more apprentices you didn't know about.
Yeah. The amount of flashbacks in those films.
It was always flashback, yeah.
Yeah, is
Yeah.
remarkably high. It's quite high. So, yeah, so that's our October. It's an interesting October. I think it's probably not as high quality as one might hope for an October, but we're kind of in a universe where the best of the horror films are not being released in October anymore. So don't know. We'll see.
Exciting times, man. Spooky season. Schnars is drinking wine. It's getting cool at night. Leaves are falling. What does it do in Georgia this time of year, Cece?
It's still hot, and it's still hot.
Yeah.
It's pretty much actually right now it's like 70, so everyone's like wearing sweatshirts, and by the afternoon you're sweating because it's only 70. So yeah, it'll be 70 until about January.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, it's horrible.
Sophie.
Hate it. Yes.
Sophie, welcome to the show. Tell me about Tweet with BGH is coming up.
So I think it's been plugged on the show in the last couple weeks, but this coming Sunday, that's the 8th of October, the BGH tweeting crew is coming back at you. We're going to do the houses that October built. They are getting ready to release a sequel, which we did not know about when we planned this. We're just that on the pulse. So that's going to go live at 8 p.m. Eastern, Sunday, October 8th. And for those of you that are patrons, you can watch a live stream of Spencer and Evan and I making fun of the movie and making goofy faces. And if you're not a patron, you can just follow along on Twitter.
Just to be clear, which pulse are you on?
All of the pulses.
All right, cool.
That's why I'm the whippersnapper.
That's right.
There you go.
She's just coming in on her phone. Push notifications. Here's what's happening with this pulse. You know, exciting.
Doing
times.
all the tweets and stuff.
John, what's your go-to Halloween ritual?
I
know like do you have a movie recommend or like what? I don't even care about recommending, but just like John Schnars is at home. Picture this, John. You're at home. You're by yourself.
I can't wait to hear what I'm picturing because it's going to be very divergent from the reality, I believe.
Close your
There better
eyes.
be a V-neck in this Imagine, is all I can say.
Close your eyes and, you're at home. The kids and the wife are out. It's feeling spooky outside.
It's already unbelievable, but
Right.
okay.
It's feeling spooky outside. And you're like, you know what? I want to have a spooky Halloween moment with myself here. What's your go-to?
What candles do you light?
Oh, man.
You got do you have a movie or, what do you do?
Well, I mean, and I've talked about that before. The movie I always go back to is The Thing because it's legit one of my favorite movies of all time. The movie that I have wanted to watch for a while that I'm going to try to make it to this spooky season, maybe when the wife and kids are out in this fantasy universe, is The Boy because I've still never seen it. And you guys have been talking it up. I mean, there's been this weird vibe around The Boy, I feel like. So, I don't know.
Oh my God, I really want you to
Great
watch
choice.
I really want you to watch The Boy and report back.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what to expect at this point. So that's where we're gonna go.
How about you, Cece? What's your go-to ritual other than actual sacrificial rituals?
I really like to revisit the kid horror, Halloween movies. So always Nightmare Before Christmas, Hocus Pocus, The Witches.
I will occasionally go back and watch Ernest Scared Stupid, which is
I need to put that in my repertoire.
It's legitimately amazing. You need to watch it.
I
mean,
might
they're just
actually
so-
break that out this year.
It's
Now
really-
that you
it's
bring that
really
up.
This is
good.
ridiculous.
I have it on DVD and on 2 different copies. I don't know why.
So you can borrow Eric's. Is
Yeah,
what you're
Are they the
saying.
same, or
Yeah.
is there one that's deleted scenes or something?
I don't know. Who knows? Sophie, what about you?
So this is going to be very cliche, but some things are cliche for a reason. I watch John Carpenter's Halloween every October. And on Sunday, October 1st this year, I actually got to go see it at a drive-in, which was amazing.
Last year I got to do that. It was really cool.
It was awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I always watch Halloween. I like to watch Halloween 4, sometimes Halloween 3. I just get right up in that series. But the other ones from here, the Blair Witch Project for sure.
Yeah, those are good.
We talked about it over the summer. I have summer horror movies Creep Show is a summer one, and Return of the Living Dead, stuff like that. But
Creep Show is an all the time.
yeah,
type
it
of-
is. It is. But I just
but-
I always get a craving for it late summer. But yeah, I'm I struck a deal with my wife this year because now that we've got the kid and we got a lot going on and I was like, I want to watch horror movies. The only really time I have to do it is just random weekday nights. Like really in the weekend, we're so busy that it's really tough. And by the time the kid's in bed, you're just like dead and, So, I'm like, if you watch a bunch of just random horror movies with me just on the weekdays, like November can be your month and you can just pick a bunch of crap and it doesn't matter what it is and I'll watch it. So, compromise, John.
I dig.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah, I'm hoping to get to more this year. It's been a couple. I haven't gotten outside of stuff we review for the show. I have not hit many horror movies just for the thrill.
Yeah, and it's something that I haven't really been able to really do in years. That I really need to get back to it just for my own sanity. Like, unfortunately, October's a super busy time at work, so that kind of kills part of it. Because every night you get home and you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
But,
Like, I want to be able to enjoy it. I don't want to just, like, turn it on and then, like, zone out.
Right, you don't want it to feel perfunctory, like, well, I'm watching Halloween, great, like...
Eric, I can't wait till your daughter is not running around. I mean, she is, but, like, not, like... Wait till they're, like, 3, 4. It's, like... You get home and you're like, and then they like punch you in the groin and you're like,
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm gonna give it the old college try. I also am gonna try to make it out to Worcester for the Rock and Shock convention, not this weekend but next weekend. If anybody's gonna be.
Oh, so you're gonna have like a double like a back-to-back horror weekend.
Yeah. Oh, show.
Impressive.
Nice. Should be fun.
I have one other important question for y'all. Who is going to see Blade Runner 2049?
Not me.
What?
Guys. God damn you. Are you serious?
I mean, I'll see it, but like...
we had this discussion last week. I haven't seen the original film.
Oh my God.
I mean, I've seen the original, and I like the original, but I mean, I don't know. I have to like...
Just...
I don't know.
It's off the charts. Well, what I was going to say is we're covering it for Sophistical this coming week, so look forward to that if you aren't a bunch of assholes.
All right, well, cool.
Are you pairing it with John? Are you guys pairing it with Repo Man?
Yeah, we're gonna watch Repo Man.
That's a good pair.
I'll listen to the Sophistical and then I don't have to see it.
I mean, you should probably still check it out.
It'll be perfect.
Just gonna throw that out there.
All right, guys.
You should really watch the original. You're making
sure it's great. It is time. Let us take a quick break here so that we can review Flatliners.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the prime time, bitch. Main feature.
John Schnars.
Yes, Eric.
Every week here in the show, or like not really on the show, just in life. Like I think we've hit the depths of like words becoming meaningless. Like I think that's it. There's no more meaning you can suck from words, and then it gets worse.
Yes. Sometimes I feel that way too.
It's kind of like a downward spiral of awfulness sometimes, John. But that's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's why John Schnars is here. John Schnars has some kind of degree in wordliness. And
that's factual.
He went to Duke, which, as we've established here in the show, makes him better than us. And it's
purely Eric's conjecture.
No, it is scientifically empirical. Okay, John. But you're here now to help prop up the English language on its, it's on his deathbed. We're gonna get out of bed, and make this happen, John.
Okay.
We're gonna make things better.
I'm ready.
Right now with the word of the day.
Eric, today's word is contrition. That's CONTRITION. The state of feeling remorseful and penitent. It has a more official Catholic meaning, the repentance of past sins during or after confession. And it comes to us from the Old French via Latin contritio, which actually allegedly meant ground down. That's the original Latin source, ground down. It's kind of gives contrition a kind of different spin there, but yeah.
What does it have to do with this movie, John?
Well, let's just get into it. Flatliners. So this is a remake. The plot, I'll be honest, I cannot remember explicitly how different it is from the original. So maybe one of you guys can help me.
Did you see?
Yeah.
Did you see who directed it?
I did.
Yeah. Who directed?
Well,
it? Who directed the original?
Oh, who directed the original?
Oh.
Who did direct the original? I don't know.
I have it right
I can look
here.
up.
One
It was
Mr.
Joel Schumacher. Guys.
Joel Batman Nipples Schumacher.
Oh, I should have known that. God damn it. I'm losing my mind.
So the
Right
original.
here. I
listen to-
thought you were, so the director here is Niels Arden Oplev, which it looks like his only real notable credit was directing some Mr. Robot episodes. He directed the original Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. So I guess a lot of people I think did see that because they put it out on Netflix right around when the original, or the American rather, came out. Yeah, I mean, so this was one of these remakes I have to suspect has been kind of floating around. Stars Ellen Page, Diego Luna, some other people. No one else, at least that I really recognize.
I just want to. I want to say while it's in my brain. So the cast of the original: Kiefer Sutherland, Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon, William Baldwin, and Oliver Platt.
Strong.
Yeah.
Strong. So
Real
Oliver
strong.
Platt is the Diego Luna character.
No,
Right?
Kevin Bacon was.
Oh.
Well, kind of. They combined the characters a lot,
I
Okay.
don't know.
in my opinion.
So we'll get into it real quick. We will circle all the way back to contrition here. I promise.
Okay.
I will call Ellen Page the main character, but essentially you have these 5 residents in, I believe, Chicago. I was like very specifically trying to figure out where they were because they kept showing all these like cityscapes, but they're also at this like very Ivy League-esque looking college. So it was
That
like,
city was not Chicago. The original's in Chicago.
is it okay? That like, it was just like one of these like very disorienting things where I was like, what? They showed enough of the city that I felt like I should have been able to figure it out, but I could never put it together, which maybe that's intentional. But yeah, so they're at this sort of like high achieving residency program in this like famous hospital. They work for one Kiefer Sutherland, who was appearing very wiggy, apparently.
Super wiggy.
And yeah, we meet Ellen Page like really quickly in the beginning of the film. We see a sequence of her driving her car, texting while driving, causing an accident, which then kills a younger person who was riding in the car with her. Quick question for all of you: when they first saw the scene, did you put together that it was her sister?
Yeah.
I mean, I assumed it was.
I did not.
There was a hot second where I was like, wow, Ellen Page is playing mom characters now. Like, that's weird.
No, I assumed sister.
I mean, it's just funny because she was clearly like 20 years older than the person who was riding the car with her. But they definitely, I don't know. It was a strange, disorienting moment for me.
Maybe it's because my youngest brother-in-law is 20 years younger than my husband, so I'm just used to
Are you trying to say that mom and
See?
dad can't have a kid at 60 years old? Because
I
technology
mean,
these days, John, science. It's amazing.
Godspeed,
Yeah.
Mr. Newell.
60
so-
is the new 25.
Yeah, so she has recovered from this car accident and is now a high-flying doctor or resident, MD, in training. And we meet a bunch of these other people that she's doctoring with that are in this residency program. But essentially, she
They're like-
somewhat
they're
tricks them.
They're like young, sexy doctors.
Yeah. It's like Grey's Anatomy.
Everybody's sexy.
Esque. She sort of tricked 2 of them into helping her with a quote unquote extracurricular experiment that she's running. One of whom she tricks by basically making him think that she's gonna have sex with him, which that's fine, whatever it takes. So they get down there and she basically says like, look, I'm doing this experiment to find the part of the brain that causes the afterlife, or like where the afterlife happens, or something along those lines. so essentially she's like, I'm gonna kill myself, and then you guys are gonna let me be dead for a minute. We're gonna brain scan me, and then you're gonna bring me back to life. Flatlining, as they say. And so she does that. She comes back. Two other people get pulled in that process because they're like struggling to kind of bring her back. So now they've got these 5 of them. After they bring her back, they realize like she's changed. Like her brain has been affected for the long term, but in positive ways. She is now much smarter for at least one scene of the film. She's able to do doctor magic, which is cool.
Doctor magic.
But so after they see her and see how like well she does after this, they're all like, well, I got to do it too. And so they sort of like in sequence, 4 of the 5 of them go through this. And what we see is that when they go back, they're like their brains sort of like expand, I guess is like the easiest way. I mean, we can talk about some of the issues
They
here.
They become sex geniuses, and just regular.
Definitely.
Another person becomes a regular genius, and then the other two.
I would
are-
take issue with the idea that she became a sex genius.
And then-
Yeah,
Throw
I
that out
don't.
there.
And then the other
So
two
he's gonna
people.
provide some commentary
And
on
then-
I
that.
want no part of that.
And
part
then the
of
other
the
2
genius.
people have literally nothing happen to them because at that point in the movie, they're too lazy to even deal with the consequences they've already set up.
Yeah. So the other thing that happens though is they are reconnected to things in their past that
Or the present?
they feel badly about.
Sure.
Like literally, it's like not even things that are like super bad in some cases. They're just
Yeah.
like they feel somewhat sad about.
So yeah, so we can get into it, and that is kind of like I can't remember if there's any kind of like repenting thing in the first film, but what I remember is that it was more that like some kind of demon followed or like entity followed them back that then kind of is like menacing them.
That's what
But
I
it-
remember.
but It was in the original, each one of them has to face a thing that they feel guilty about.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they're
Yeah,
haunted
that
by
is-
a
that
thing
is
they
there.
feel bad about.
Mm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Uh,
It seemed less silly when they did it the first time.
Yeah. Well,
But that's the 90s. You know, everything seemed less
All right.
silly then.
Flatliners 2017. Sophie, what'd you think?
So I was telling John pre-show, guys, I wanted this movie to be good so hard. I even would have settled for fine or terribly bad, but it was just the most mediocre kind of bad. I'm a huge fan of the original. It's one of the first horror movies I ever watched, and I remember watching it on VHS when I was, I don't know, 11 or 12, and anything with Joel Schumacher and Kiefer in the 80s and 90s is gold. So I dragged other people to the theater to see this with me and then had the experience of having to apologize over and over again to all of them as we were leaving. Yeah, I mean, I just think it was a mess. I think we can get into this, but the biggest impression I had coming out of it was it really feels like there must have been some massive reworking at the very last minute. And if there wasn't, it feels like they just never finished it. So one thing we talked about over email is that originally, as recently as the last month or so, Kiefer Sutherland was credited as his character from the original,
Twist.
but that is
Wow.
obviously not what he's playing. His character is too old to be his character from the original.
Well,
which
first
is
of all,
choice.
I would take issue with that because that was legitimately like 25 years ago at this point, at least. So like, if you're
Yeah,
20,
I was gonna say he definitely could
like,
be.
listen, people go.
I mean, I don't know a ton of 50-year-olds that
Sophie, I have gray hairs. I'm
the
not quite
wig
as.
is the wig was bad. The wig was bad.
No, the wig was
Are
glorious.
you saying that Eric shouldn't have gray hair right now?
the wig?
I
the
would,
wi-
if Eric had an entire head of gray hair, I would be concerned.
Well,
and
okay.
also Kane.
But wigs aside, the bigger problem is that he's not a like. Maybe that was an original intent. Maybe it was shot at some point, or maybe it was just the script. But like, he's not mentioned by name. He's got one
No.
scene. It looked like they had him in this one like boardroom, and that was the only scene basically.
And he's credited with a different name now. Like his IMDb listing has changed in the last 6 to 4 weeks.
Interesting.
So that's a weird
dun
thing.
dun
that-
dun.
We could go down a rabbit hole, but I don't know that you'd find anything. But
no,
I think
it's
the biggest
a
thing
pretty
is,
short rabbit hole. I think.
yeah, the bigger thing is just the editing of this movie is really bad. There are so many scenes that don't connect and don't make sense, and so I feel like it takes away. It kind of really diminishes the movie from being either okay enough that it was fun to watch or bad enough that it was fun to watch. So it's just really, really mediocre.
CC.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything Sophie was saying. I think that I wanted it to at least be like decent enough to enjoy, and it just, I don't know, it was very lackluster. And I appreciated that they changed around the storyline and kind of made combined a few characters, but I don't know, the editing and the choppiness of the plots and like the random like one-offs was really, really strange and distracting. And I don't know, it was just, I couldn't get into backing any of the characters. Like I just didn't care. Like Ellen Page, I mean, she's supposed to be the main character, and you really don't feel all that connected or really into her story. You're just kind of like, oh, well, I see where this is going.
John Schnars, Ellen Page was in Inception.
Yeah.
And now she's in Flatliners.
Yeah,
But I feel like I feel like one of those is here and one of those is here, and I missed like, where did the in-between part happen? Like she's
been on a downswing for a long time, and like the Inception piece, I think
she's a really good like, I actually even think she's good in this, where she's given like nonsense to work with.
Yeah, I mean, she's fine. This movie is so it's funny. Like I don't disagree in substance with either Sophie or Cece, but I do disagree in degree. Like the level of mediocrity here is like almost, and I was saying this over email, I know, but like the more I think about it, the like angrier I get. And I've had half a glass of wine, so that does it too. But
so sassy.
The level of mediocrity here is actually sort of like more enraging than something like Bye Bye Man, which is our benchmark right now in 2017. No, I'm not saying it's a worse film than Bye Bye Man. That is like,
listen, I choose to be enraged by different things, but I understand what you're saying.
So it's just so friggin' bland, and we can measure that on just like any number of levels. Like the amount of actual sort of threat to any of the characters in this film is like remarkably low for a quote unquote horror movie. There at like almost no time are any of them in any real mortal danger, except for Ellen Page, who like that there's like one sequence where she's basically being chased around by a ghost. And like, I don't know, like did that scene work for anyone? Like was anyone like super upset?
There's a definite lack of tension, even with the fact that like it's set up that they're doing this in some weird secret underground hospital, which, by the way, that makes no fucking sense. But also, like, you'd think that there's a scene where they're sort of kind of almost caught, but nothing happens and there's zero consequences. You're kind of just like, all right, well, I guess...
the woman is like driving like a maniac through the streets of the city after blowing through a security gate. I mean, enough things that there would have been like some consequence, to your point. No, you just reminded me, though, the fact that they toss it off. She's like, the first time Ellen Page brings the other two people down, she's like, yeah, the hospital built this whole second hospital down here in case of an emergency. So there's this working hospital. Don't worry about it. Yeah, they can afford to build like a second hospital. No problem. Like, and it has like the most high-tech super equipment of like any hospital.
It has better equipment than the real hospital that's upstairs.
Although, guys, the real hospital, if we can just talk about it for a second, had all glass walls between patient rooms, which seems like a HIPAA violation, and also would just be terrible to have to clean and doesn't make sense.
And no one was wearing scrubs. Like it was like a general practitioner's office. Like everyone was in heels and skirts, and it was really bizarre.
Also, sorry, like I zoned out for a second, so maybe somebody said this, but the whole justification for this other hospital is that in case the power goes out, and I'm like, so you just have a different power station that you're hooked up to, or like how does that work?
Dude, the fact that they built a second, like most hospitals like scrape by, like can't build like one hospital.
Hey, we just have a totally working hospital underneath us that's never used. Listen, John, healthcare, it's a racket.
Although I feel like this movie was filmed in Canada, so maybe, maybe they can afford it. But also, Canada's not going to get shot by a nuke, so why do they need an underground hospital?
Yeah, it's a universal underground hospital. You wouldn't understand it. It's very complicated. So like this movie, to use a Schnarsian expression, is like aggressively mediocre. And like I think John's really kind of getting to my thing is like, it's bland. There's not a lot of tension, but really like when I really zero in on it, the thing that kind of blows my mind the most are how many plot holes there are in this plot holes and like when Sophie said the thing about Kiefer's name changing, I'm convinced now that they shot a totally different version of this movie and re-edited it because there are like so many plot things that are brought up that seem really important and then just disappear. So like, Ellen Page we see her little sister daughter die in the beginning of the movie, right? And it's like it's funny because it reminded me of now I get another chance to bitch about Annabelle.
Immediate sympathy.
Yeah, immediately we have a scene, camera fade up, little kid that I don't even know dies because it's like literally it's like the modern equivalent of the slasher Final Girl's mom is dead. But
I was
don't
doing
know.
the Arsenio Hall like fist pump.
But it's like it's a modern equivalent of the Final Girl. Like, oh, I don't know, her mom's dead, so you feel bad for her. You know what I mean? Like, but you don't know why. So they build the whole movie. She's the main character, and after she kind of does her thing, we sort of start seeing that she's kind of seeing her sister and blah blah blah, and it's built up as kind of the central theme of tension in the film. And then about 2/3 way through the movie, like right before the third act, spoiler alert, she dies. And
that was a quick spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, she's dead. I think they were going for like
she's gone.
I think they were going for like a shocking Psycho kind of twist, but the problem is that like what makes Psycho interesting, right, is that you're able to shift your gaze to like Anthony Perkins. And like,
I cannot believe you're even comparing this to Psycho right now.
I'm trying to give them. I'm
impressed.
No, explain to us.
I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt that they were trying to be shocking and clever by killing that character off, like when they did. But like it's a twist, right? You didn't expect that, and you know why you didn't expect that? Because now your whole fucking plot is dead. Because
I legit didn't even think that it was a twist. I was just like, this is the dumbest thing that's ever happened.
You see what I'm saying though? Because she's the main character.
I get where you're saying.
So it's like really unorthodox for her to just die before the third act even happens.
Yeah.
So then,
I mean, it was just really. I mean, I'm with you. Like, it's strange the way the plot holes that happened seemed like it would have added. Like, I would have watched that movie and probably enjoyed it. And
no, it was still a terrible movie.
No, I think it would have been better had it not been like chopped up. Because I mean, all right, so Marlo is supposed to be, well, I don't know. Marlo can either be the Baldwin character, or she can be, Julia Roberts' character, because there's kind of, I don't know. It's just really strange. And then like Diego Luna's character.
Oh, we're gonna talk about his hair.
Besides his horrible hair, I mean, like I don't know, there was a lot more to investigate there, and they just, I don't know.
See, here's the thing: the movie's an hour and 50 minutes long, as is.
Oh my god! So at some point,
I know it was poorly edited, because it felt like it was 4 hours. Like that was the longest movie I've ever sat.
At some point during this movie, I opened the Fandango app and I looked to check the time, the duration. And like audibly groaned when I saw it was an hour 50. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
I was doing the math in my head because I knew how long it was and I knew the like stated start time. But then I'm like, okay, how many trailers were there? Like, what time did this actually start? And then I'm like, there's some credits, so I can take some time off the back.
We see so many movies. It's like you have your own little internal clock, and at some point, it feels like you should be out and you're not, and you're like, oh fuck, we're like not even into the third act here.
Oh, it was
so all right. So Ellen Page dies, and that totally kills any plot momentum. And meanwhile, they've spent the whole movie building up this thing about her guilt over her dead sister, and there's
contrition.
There's no resolution. There's no resolution.
Yes!
There's no resolution. It just fizzles out. So then the plot is left to turn to these other characters on the edges that like you just don't give a shit about. So there's like huge problem number one. There's these little things that
I
are
don't know, dude. The rich, like bratty dude who forced his girlfriend to get an abortion,
and then didn't show up.
I don't know. I kind of relate.
He's a dad.
It's so hard to put your empathy on Nina Dobrev's character after Ellen Page dies.
Whatever.
Is that the one whose mom was the problem?
No, she's the one who like killed a patient, spoiler alert,
No.
and then changed the autopsy report. But like they try to make you her. I felt like they try to shift so much to her relationship with Diego Luna and whether or not she's going to come forward. Because at that point, that's the most scare quotes complex of the issues that anyone has.
Well,
and it's ridiculous because they've already pointed out that Diego Luna's character used to be a firefighter and is putting himself through medical school, and Nina Dobrev gets angry at him and is like, I had to sacrifice so much to be here. Meanwhile, she's living in a townhouse, driving a brand new car.
Sophie, you sound like
me. And she's probably married or engaged because she had on the entire time.
You guys,
so
there had to be another edit of this movie they all of a sudden scrapped the day before they released
That's a great example, right? So Cece's talking about like this character has a wedding ring on. It's never mentioned, right?
It's never mentioned, and then at the end, she like.
I legit did not notice it. By the way, that was like
Diego.
A shock.
Diego, a huge ring, and the whole time, like she's doing all this stuff, and then there's several times where she tries to like cover it, so it looks like they either refilmed it, and she like has like her hand in her jacket, and it's really awkward. Like she wouldn't be holding the jacket that way, and then at the end of the movie, she doesn't have a ring on, and it's very like, look at my hand. My hand doesn't have a ring on.
You know, also like Diego Luna's character, like they make a big deal out of the fact that he doesn't want to do it because he kind of feels like, I don't know, you know, the more blue collar kind of dude of the group, and he's like, you know, they're all saying like we're risking our place in medical school and as doctors by doing this, and he eventually, you know, he's the good guy, so he helps anyway because he doesn't want anybody to die. But, like, they make a huge thing out of the fact that he doesn't want to do it, and they're all pressuring him, and you're like, okay, at some point when this movie needs a jolt, right, like, they're going to convince him to do it, and he's just going to give in and do it. Nope, totally dropped. The fact that he doesn't do it never comes into play again.
Yeah.
And then this other thing, I got to get these out of my head while they're in my head. So, like, the first person does it, Ellen Page does it. She becomes a literal fucking genius in this hilarious scene the next day where they're at, like, Kiefer Sutherland school, and Kiefer's like asking weird, obscure medical questions, and she's like, I know, it's this. It's page 47 of the drug report, and blah, blah, blah. And everybody's looking at her like, she basically becomes Bradley Cooper in Limitless or whatever that movie was. So, okay, so that happens, and they start theorizing really stupidly, like, oh, it's like she's unlocked every memory ever. Like, it's just all right there, you know, and she can play the piano for some reason.
Yeah.
What? So, of course, like, from a plot standpoint, everybody gets jealous, right? So, like, they want to do it now. So rich asshole kid who lives on a boat goes first. And we got to talk about, too, like, the flat lines themselves are not very interesting. Like, say what you want about the first movie, but, like, you know, they're flying over fields, and there's all these flash cuts, and, like, things are happening. When this guy flatlines, literally all that happens is he's driving down a street on a motorcycle, and he's really enjoying it. That's it. That's the whole fucking thing.
No, but then the girl that he got pregnant is sitting with him.
But I don't care. Like, they're not. What's so cool about that?
No, I mean, I
don't care about your life.
But make some, at least with like Ellen Page, they made some attempt at some kind of sublime, like, I'm reaching out into the ether and like the limbo, or, you know, like there's some kind of visual, like, you know, you're trying to make like a beautiful, scary image, right? Like, just something to, like, you're talking about the afterlife. It's this really profound thing. And Ellen Page also got the whole thing where she flies upwards out of the hospital. Like, that was really cool. And then they cut to the dude, and he's like, he's riding down the street in a motorcycle. Like, so with each successive, like, flatline, they just give up. And then he doesn't get any superpowers. Like, I can't remember a single scene where all of a sudden he's as smart as Ellen Page is.
Well, he says something about how he's saving patients. Like, every patient he works with that day is fine.
He's kind of in a good mood for, like, one day, and then it disappears. And, like,
he's less of an asshole
that leads
for 24 hours.
No, he almost gives that person Ativan, and they, like, that's how he saves them, right?
But that leads to this really ridiculous scene in the hallway.
He connects to his intuition or something, isn't that what they say?
Okay.
Something like that.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
It leads to this really
Which,
ridiculous...
to be fair, with his character, it seems like it would make him more dangerous, not less dangerous.
Right, exactly.
It leads to this ridiculous...
A little bit of a risk taker.
Scene in the hallway.
The unprotected sex.
This scene in the hallway where, like, you know, she goes... They're trying to figure out what's happening, and somebody looks at Ellen Page and goes, wait a second. And you can tell, like, she's about to drop some plot thing, and she goes... When you flatlined, you're focused on the past, but when he flatlined, he's focused on the present. And first of all, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Second of all, it's never mentioned again. Two more people, or what? One more person flatlines, and like
2.
Is it 2? And like they don't get any kind of special powers. They don't really like.
No, she's the one who just wants to have sex.
She's the
What's
sex.
his
She's the
name?
sex genius, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a sex genius.
But like,
Oh my God,
also, so like this film is kind of like the final product is actually it goes beyond just little plot holes. It's kind of incomprehensible. Like they
No,
made
I
a
mean,
fucking mess out of this thing.
It's so to be clear, I would put this in the in the list of worst scripts we've seen in a long time that have gotten turned into films. I do think Sophie is probably right that there is a cut of this movie that at least makes more sense. But like I said, this movie's an hour and 50 minutes long. It's nearly unwatchable. So you have to at least imagine that they edited this to get it to a level of watchability that they could get into theaters. They knew it was a remake, so it had this kind of like name recognition. There's like marginal star power here, so that like okay, we can market around that.
John Kiefer Sutherland is in this movie. Wouldn't you have? I mean, in all honesty, wouldn't you have rather seen a movie where he, even if it was cheesy, like he played that old character?
Yes.
Yeah.
If it was just about him being like, "Fuck it, I'm flatlining again. I don't care."
But whatever.
Like,
but
well,
even if
he's the lead in the last movie, so you'd think if you brought him back, he has the most interesting input.
Yeah.
Like, why would you bring back the lead and then do nothing?
Even
with
if
him?
he's just the mentor that kind of like gets them into this and instigates the trouble a little bit, like you don't need him in the whole movie, but at least it gives you some kind of interesting plot tie back to that first film. I don't know. I'm not a screenwriter, John, but I should be.
Guys, can we talk really quickly about just this is a very small thing, but this was such a bad editing issue in the very opening. The first time she flatlines, if maybe no one else noticed this, and that's okay. But Ellen Page tells everybody to meet her in the basement in sublevel C, and then they show everyone going into this basement in the secret hospital. And she's like, I know all of the cleaning schedules. No one's going to be down here. We're the only ones. And then it cuts to an exterior shot of the hospital with only one light on. And they're in the fucking basement. They're shooting up at like the 4th floor window.
They're in the umbrella.
It made me so angry.
That's really funny, first of all, but it's like the Umbrella Corporation like underground facility basically.
Oh man.
You know what? Like I didn't notice that, but I like almost want to just like watch this movie on TV fast forward just to catch, because you're right, like that is
above ground basements is the problem.
It's just the level of incompetence around the filmmaking here that is, that's like very indicative of it's so much of what's wrong with this film. That because to your point, like that's something that I didn't even necessarily notice. Like it's not impactful of like the overall narrative, but like in terms of like film language and like how you edit and structure a film, it's just like
it's a mess.
The laziest piece of shit on the planet. Yeah.
Can we talk about Diego Luna's rat hair?
Oh man.
Like so first of all, I was convinced I didn't know who this dude was until somebody pointed out that he was in Rogue One. And like he literally has this, it's long and like stringy and like really thin, and like he actually has it in some weird man ponytail thing for most of the movie where it's not like just pulled back in a ponytail. I don't know, maybe you guys know what this is called, but like just sort of the top is pulled back in a ponytail and then the rest is just kind of dangling on his shoulders. It is like
I don't think
distracting.
That is
just to be clear, that's a really common way for people who have long hair to wear their hair, but his looks.
It's not cool.
Yeah,
it's not.
It was not well done.
To be fair,
his sideburns are like not short, but they're also not long, so they aren't long enough to go back, but they're too long to be sideburns. So he has this weird, gross.
To be fair,
hair hanging here.
He's a handsome fellow. He just needs to rethink his whole hair game.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's funny because I think it was CC mentioned like, oh, this had some like stars in it, like Diego Luna, and I was like, hold on a second, like Diego Luna, if he's like the reason I know who he is because he was in Y Tu Mama Tambien. I don't know if you guys saw that movie when it came out. No. That's a spicy number. But he has been in legitimately like 3 other movies that I would even consider like decent or watchable, including Rogue One. So like I don't know. I think he's one of these people who has like decent name recognition, but is not actually great.
Maybe
You
I mean,
know.
well, I didn't say he was a great actor. I just knew who he was. So I was saying I know who that is.
Oh, that
So
guy.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Not to attack Cece.
He seems fine.
But
He seems
it was a fair
fine.
point.
He seems fine. I mean, honestly, like, it's hard to judge anyone's acting in this movie because of what they're all kind of working with.
Because they're just saying insane shit that doesn't
Yeah.
tie to any other shit.
Like, you know, like he's focused on the past. You're focused on the present.
Oh, I did look it up, guys, while we were talking. So Ellen Page in the opening sequence. So she's 30. The sister that she's driving with is 13. So
That's happened.
you know, stretch.
That's
no,
happened.
I'm labeling it a stretch, Eric.
My-
I mean,
my-
Kyle is 30 and his little brother just started college.
My
and
mother-
he
my mother's-
just turned 18.
Yeah, my mother's
But
15.
that's 12 years.
My mother's
But also, Ellen Page might not be playing 30.
Yeah.
I understand how acting works. I'm just saying they
Wow.
they did like nothing to convince you that she was younger or older. Like one scene to the next. They're like 9 years later, and here she is again. You know?
Oh,
I think that was
God.
everybody, to be fair.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
don't know.
well, so here's the other thing that bothered me about her dying so early is like, and I forgot this, but I said in the email, like her grief for her sister is the only reason why anything in this movie happens,
Mhm.
because she decided to do this flatlining thing because of her sister. Like, she makes up some other bullshit, but she eventually gives way. So like, now the motivation for the entire plot has disappeared. I mean, at that point they've already all flatlined, right? So like, shit's already happening to them. But then I don't know, it just feels like a big empty void in the middle of it.
Yeah, there's no part of this movie that really makes any sense. Is
Yeah.
what I would
Yeah.
say.
I mean, it's
Was there anything you liked about this movie, John?
I actually thought through the first act, it was like not clear to me that this was a terrible movie. I would say by the time they all start flatlining, I was like, what is the thread here? Like, what is pulling this thing
Right.
through? And to your point, like when Ellen Page dies, and then you're now forced to deal with these like secondary characters, it just makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah.
Mm.
It loses a lot
Well,
of steam too.
I mean, especially like when at the climax of the movie when Marlowe is experiencing this like darkness that's kind of, following her around. They don't do enough to explain what exactly is happening. And for like Ellen Page makes an appearance and she's like, "Oh, you have to forgive yourself." But at the same time, you also hear Diego Luna's character be like, "No, you have to come back to me." Like there's just so much, like it's like they just pulled things out of a hat and go, "Okay, this is what we're going to do next." And
They also mention it's a demon, and then
Right.
they don't ever come back to that.
yeah. That's why it's
Did
like, was
mention
this
that at
it?
some
Yeah.
Right.
Is it a
A Deneman?
Demonic. Demonic.
I hate Denemans.
It's
They're the worst.
a demon is my new favorite. That's what it is. That's a southern demon.
We're going off the rails, you guys.
What-
It's
should we-
definitely.
So we're getting towards the end here, right? Can we talk about the scene after the first two flatlines when they have just like a flatline party? And like they're so free spirited now, John, because they flatlined and now they're just gonna take their shirts off and make out and spray each other.
Well,
with
Holes in the
booze.
wall.
It was
Put
a
holes in
really
the wall.
strange, like, were they supposed to just, I mean, was it supposed to be as mind opening as like Burning Man or something? And then just so happened the city that they live in is having this giant party by the harbor. Like it was really,
Flatlining basically just makes you act like you're on ecstasy or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
yeah,
man,
apparently.
everything
You're
is
firing
beautiful.
on all cylinders.
Yeah. John,
Yes.
say something about this movie.
Oh, you know what I've been, I think I mentioned it in an email, but I've been wanting to make sure we get to, and it's a nice little cherry on top. Sorry, I was pulling up Twitter because I want to make sure I had our tweets ready. I think the most emblematic element of this entire film or moment in the film is the final scene, where they have all survived. Literally no one else dies except Ellen Page, which is, again, sort of weird for a horror movie. And they are at a bar and they toast to the Ellen Page character in this like outrageous like let's take a shot sequence that is taking place right after someone is playing the piano song that I guess she played.
She plays
Yeah.
in that
Like-
bar scene earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just
Can we-
so fucking disconnected from like reality of any like there's just no part like
You forgot
it
the
made
best.
me hate all of the characters worse.
You
Let me
forgot
put it
the
that
best
way.
part, right? So the married not married girl, what she did wrong was she like screwed up, killed a patient, and then lied about it on like the report. And so after like kind of all the like horror stuff is wrapped up, she tells him like, "Oh, I went and told him everything. I'm just suspended." Like,
Yeah.
Or not even suspended.
Not
She was
even.
on probation.
She got
probation.
one,
She's on
basically.
probation. So
Yeah.
like, and then we're fine. We're toasting. I'm like, bro, you killed someone and lied about it. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure your
And
ass
the
would
other
be in
guy's gonna be a
handcuffs.
dad. I mean, they all have stuff to be stressed out about, and they're all just like, it's okay.
Sophie, you never commented on the one sex scene in this film, which you seem to have some emotional like
Guys,
It was so bad.
was
Oh,
awkward.
really
like
feels like that actress. I think I said this exactly this way in the email, but it feels like that actress has not only never had sex, but has never seen anyone have sex or heard about what sex is. Like, it doesn't seem like it's supposed to be funny.
Part of the problem was it's
But it's
edited.
ridiculous.
It's
It
edited
looked
very
like she was
badly.
bouncing on one of those little trampolines.
Yes.
You know,
I
the little
was
ones.
worried about her brain. Like, I was worried about her getting a concussion.
It's edited very badly. Like it looked to me like there was maybe a more
This
R.
was not just an editing problem.
No, I know, but it looked like there was maybe a more R-rated cut because
Sure.
on top of her weird gyrations, like it's also like choppily edited, and then it's just like her moaning, and then her mom's banging on the door outside, and she's like, "Whatever,
Yeah.
keep banging me," and then it's just like, that was weird. And he's like, "Okay, sure."
I think that was the line, actually. That was the
oh man. It was uncomfortable.
What a movie,
I do
man!
not approve.
What a movie!
Do
this
not
was.
approve.
And
Do you-
it feels like it's supposed to be this moment of her like grasping her independence from her mom. Like
Right.
I feel like the movie wants you to feel like it's a very empowering moment. And I've just never seen anyone look so stupid in my entire life.
it was really bad.
Oh man, it's terrible. Okay. Glad we got that out.
Flatliners. Would you recommend this movie, Sophie?
No, just please watch the original because it's significantly better.
Cece,
No, I wouldn't.
John.
No.
Yeah, I am gonna recommend that Diego Luna get a haircut because he could be such a handsome guy
Yes.
if he just cut that goddamn hair off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Got to do some upkeep.
He doesn't ever look in a mirror. Like nobody ever just like, hey man, I just picture the like the makeup artist on this movie just like pulling his hair down, just being like, yeah, I
So
don't.
you gonna keep this?
Yeah, okay. What if we just put this in a lady ponytail? That would be great. All right, guys.
Oh.
That's going to do it for Flatliners. Let's take a quick break so that we can do some fan mail.
Samuel P. Fuller, age 24. Linda Mae Jenkins, age 19. Attacked March 3rd, 1946. Howard W. Turner, age 29. Emma Lou Cook, 17. Both found dead in a wooded area March 24th, 1946. Roy Allen, 17. Peggy Loomis, 15. Both found dead April 14th, 1946, Spring Lake Park. Floyd Reed, age 34, found dead in his home May 3rd, 1946. Mrs. Reed shot twice but survived. This man's identity, unknown. Believed to be between the age of 34 and 40. Wearing a white hood, he was known as the Phantom Killer. Believed to be still today living and walking free in the streets of Texarkana, Arkansas. Now, Charles B. Pierce brings to the giant screen one of the most incredible true stories ever filmed. The Town That Dreaded Sundown, starring Academy Award winner Ben Johnson from American International Pictures, rated R.
This is Zoe Bell, and you're listening to the Bloody Good Horror Podcast.
Send your emails to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or hit us up on Twitter at BGHorror with the hashtag AskBGH. And don't forget to pick up back episodes of the show at podcast.bloodygoodhorror.com.
And we are back. Town That Dreaded Sundown, Schnars, a big favorite from my youth.
Never seen it.
Oh, John, it's so good.
Man, it's a good one.
Get on it.
It is.
No,
It's actually pretty important, I think, in the kind of proto slasher pantheon. Like, I think it's some good heritage there you need to see.
So yeah, maybe I can add this to my list. Is it available on streaming services?
I don't know. Somewhere in my collection of posters, I have an original one sheet from the 70s.
Damn.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
It's available on Vudu for free.
Nice.
VUDU. What is you guys know what that is? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That's the new one though. That's not the old one.
Skip the new one. It's not good.
Wait, there was a new
Yeah,
one?
no.
Did we do it on the show?
I don't-
No.
There was.
I don't think so. I think it was a VOD release. I don't think it ever came out in theaters.
Wow. I didn't
Because
even-
it came out right when I started at BGH, I think. I might have reviewed
I don't
it.
even remember that. That blows my mind.
Looks like it's a $4 rental on Amazon, so maybe I'll check it out.
Before we get to fan mail, you know what we didn't talk about? Cece, you were telling us stuff before the show about this Snowman movie. Like, what's the deal with this? It's based on a book?
So, yes,
International bestseller.
That was a very
Eric.
simple question,
I mean,
Cece.
it is a Norwegian crime series, and it apparently has done very well. The Snowman is actually number 7 out of 10.
That's crazy.
And it revolves around a detective named Detective Harry Hole.
What was that? I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that.
Eric was
Yes.
just teeing that up. I know.
Fassbender's character's name is Harry Hole.
That's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. And there's a whole series. Like,
Listen.
did someone not tell him after the first one? Like,
Listen,
yo.
If anyone can pull off the name Harry Hole in a movie, it's Michael Fassbender.
This is true. Maybe that's why he's like, you know what?
You're talking about a man that literally sold a scene in which he makes out with himself.
Well, yeah. And I mean,
And they're both robot versions of himself.
he was like, challenge accepted. This is mine.
Info@bloodygoodhorror.com. Schnars, I saved this email from last week because I wanted you to be here when I read it.
Oh, boy.
It actually has nothing to do with you, but I think you'll understand in
Oh.
a second why I wanted you to hear it. You might say that this is the only email that exists. It is the best email, and I'm going to read it right now.
Of all emails.
Roger says, after being a fan since the early 100 episodes and going back and listening to them all, I think it's time to finally say, Eric is the best.
All right.
His interpretation of Mother,
God damn it.
his interpretation of Mother was what I left the theater thinking. Also, his Halloween thoughts always on point. While the rest of the crew likes to snicker at him, we all know who is the best. Perhaps Eric just needs to use his powers in a more Trumpian way. Never. On a side note, can we please review the Cash Me Outside Girls' new rap song, which I did read that part last week. But, you know, I just wanted you to hear that, John.
I want to know what this listener thinks of your review of Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
Oh, I love that movie.
I know you do.
John, Twitter. It's on Twitter.
The tweets.
The tweets.
Yeah, we got some tweets. I'm super upset because I'm going through the BGH classics and realizing that you guys probably read the one about Ryan Reynolds last week.
No, wait.
Mm-mm.
Did we? I don't think we did.
Wait, are you sure?
I don't think we did.
It's like borderline inappropriate, but I like was cracking up when I read it.
I don't recall an inappropriate one about Ryan Reynolds.
It's also about Scarlett Johansson, if that jogs your memory.
Wait, about the one about horses? Yeah, we did. Yes, we did. Never mind.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. People should go back and listen to last week's episode.
Unlike you, John, people did listen to last week's episode.
I'm scrolling back through the history, and I hit that one. I was like, "Holy shit!" So at Robel Congrats, bro. You made me laugh pretty hard. All right. So we got a couple. These are our BGH classics. Again, folks who are going through the back catalog and find some funny things that we've said in the past. Usually it's Eric saying borderline offensive things, but here we are. So
Never.
Space Lawyers podcast. That's at Attorney at Space. This is a Casey quote. I may be furry, but I'm not a furry. And that was in response to the Google report on where to find the best furries.
Oh, the Google reports.
Yeah, episode 98. The Google report it's really cheating, but we should find the episode where we did the last Google report and kind of like discussed how it had been sullied forever. And there was there's an SEO lesson from like the early 2000s or mid 2000s in there. At Skizbot says Joe writes the same way he speaks, aggressively and hilariously.
He does.
That's Mark.
He does.
Yeah, it's true. Episode 350.
Also 0 punctuation.
It's also true. Another Mark quote from episode 350. I was just happy that someone gave Guillermo del Toro a shit ton of money and said, "Make this movie, you fucking nerd." That was actually in reference to Pacific Rim.
That's amazing.
That's pretty good.
Mark was very quotable in that episode, apparently. So, yeah. And this one. It's sort of a weird BGH classic, but so Biddle Brian, that's Brian Biddle, says finally watched As Above So Below and praying CC Riots is on the ep, and poof, like blind albino magic, it's her first episode.
I didn't realize that was the first episode, but now it makes sense. It's funny. I really liked that movie, and then I tried to watch it again, and like I wasn't, like sometimes found footage in the second go round.
Yeah,
it's a little tough. I just kind of was bored by it, but. It was fun the first time.
I watched it a couple of months ago and still liked it, but I mean, it's not. I don't know. I don't think it'll age very well.
Yeah.
I've never seen. Wasn't on the episode. Have never seen it. But I did listen to the episode. I actually remember it fondly.
I don't know if you guys talked about this on that episode, but do you know that all the stuff that they had in the catacombs, they physically took into the catacombs and then took out?
No. What do you mean?
It's like that scene where there's like the big car on fire. They carried a junked out car down in there and lit it and then carried it out. Same thing with the piano.
I do remember reading something about that, but I totally forgot about all of that on the second watch.
That whole thing with all that shit down there is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
So should I check it out or should I not?
If you haven't seen it, you'll like. I mean, I think you would enjoy it the first time around. I'm just saying the second time's a little like. It's a little expected the second time around.
It plays better the first time for sure.
Quick update here on the BGH Classics. Robale, Rodrigo, is watching the live stream, just tweeted with the BGH Classic hashtag and said episode 200 explains the Google report. So if you are interested, you can go deep on the Google report.
Explains why we stopped doing it?
Presumably, yes. Yeah. So there you go. All right. So we have some Ask BGHs here. We'll start with Jeremy at Lovecraft Tapes. Says, which version of Reanimator will you be showing? I think there are 3 versions on the 4K disc set.
I have no idea.
This blew my mind. So I should say up front that Andy has been in conversation with the film distributor, and this is a question specifically in reference to the fact that we are showing a 4K restoration of Reanimator. I will ask Andy, and we will come back with that answer next week. I did not realize there were 3 versions. So
yeah, me neither.
Here we go.
It does. I mean, it does seem like a movie that might have been chopped up a couple times.
I mean, Stuart Gordon played a little fast and loose, I have a feeling. So the next one comes from Chris Gardner at Gardner7001. Guys, it's seriously upsetting how cool the posters are for Boo 2. Have you seen the marketing? Wish it were for another movie. And then it's actually a picture of all of the Boo posters
kind of
like
amazing.
on a wall.
Yeah, kind of amazing.
They're really good.
I mean, they're really awesome.
The question is, does the movie have more horror in it and less, making you feel bad about yourself? About being human?
I guess we'll find out, Eric.
Will this movie also star a YouTuber whose literal only claim to fame is being a twerking lady, and then write a scene in which she can twerk?
Dare to dream.
It's questions, kinds of questions we all want to know.
The next one comes from Fritz Grimm. That's Viva La Tony. Would any of you see a remake of The Stuff with Jamie Lee Curtis as spokesperson of the company / surprise third act villain? I have no idea what this tweet means.
Isn't
Guys,
The
I
Stuff,
literally just watched the stuff immediately before recording this episode.
I think
Wait,
we
what
did
is
an
it?
episode on it.
No.
It's like a really bananas B movie from the late 80s where some humans discover this weird alien goop coming out of the ground and start selling it as like low calorie ice cream, and it makes everyone go crazy.
Yeah, it makes their like faces blow up and their
So-
innards come out and like just blow up in gruesome
we
ways.
definitely did not do.
I've
an
seen
episode
it.
on
I don't know why then.
Everyone should watch it. It's on, if you have Shudder, it's streaming on Shudder, and it's hilarious.
It's pretty fucking
and I
wild.
would absolutely watch a remake with Jamie Lee Curtis as the spokeswoman.
Yeah, it's
Oh my God.
pretty wild.
Some of the pictures are like I just Google searched it. And it is.
It's great.
It's got a
It's
great
great.
it's got a great color palette to it. Like very neon colored.
That's bonkers. Okay. So there you have it. Yes, some of us would see that movie. Eric Williams at Geeky83. Now that the spooky season has begun, do you guys like to visit a seasonal haunted house? If so, what is your best memory?
I do not truck with haunted houses. I'm not a big fan. It's too much for me, man. Can't do it.
For like your blood pressure or which part? I'm very excited. I think I gotta talk to the family, but I'm gonna try to go to Boo at the Zoo, which is at the Bronx Zoo,
That's
and
adorable.
it sounds like a delight, and I'm very excited. So that's this year. I think my 3 and 1 year old may be able to handle it. So
I think that'd be a good trek, a good spooky season event.
do either of you truck with haunted houses, Cece and Sophie?
I mean, I like them. I think the best one I've been to was, I don't even remember the name of it, but it was in Chattanooga. Or no, not Chattanooga. It was in Gatlinburg, which is really bizarre. But we have Netherworld in Atlanta, but we also have Chamber of Horrors, which is really good. So, there's some to do, but they're normally super crowded. So I don't truck with them too often.
That's a pretty new addition to my spooky repertoire. I like scary movies. I less enjoy being scared in real life.
Yeah, I'm not
It's not
into,
my jam.
yeah, I'm not into it.
So I would say the last 2 years I did haunted houses and I got super into it. But I walk like physically attached to my boyfriend the whole time, which
Yeah.
he finds not at all amusing. But the first one that I went to in this renaissance of trying to do haunted houses, there's this place in southern Delaware called Frightland. And I attempted to go there with like my stepmom and one of her friends and the boyfriend, and they were all making fun of me for being a wimp. And on the very first thing we did, you go through a haunted hayride and you the hayride breaks down in several spots and people come and try to mess with you. And everybody was laughing at me for being the wimp. And we pull into this barn and they have suspended pieces of bodies. And some of them are close enough that they'll hit you if you're on the edge of the hayride. And so I just got to watch this disgusting torso come bouncing down the hayride and hit my stepmom and scared the crap out of her. And I got to laugh at her, and it was like the only point of victory the whole night.
I will say haunted
That was pretty solid.
hayrides are really cool. But there's always that moment in most of them where somebody comes up onto the hayride and like, listen, man, give me a haunted hayride where you just keep your distance. Like I need you to be like 10 feet away.
You just run after the hayride. Don't
But, like,
close to me.
So like 10 years, about the time the show started 10 years ago, we were living in Florida and we went to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal in Orlando. And it was when the first year they did Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface. But the thing was, like, my wife wouldn't go in the haunted houses with me because she's just like way too scared. So I had to go in alone, which is like not the way you want to do that. And that was actually the last time I was in a haunted house.
I don't blame you.
Good God, Eric.
You gotta have
No,
a buddy. You gotta
I,
have a buddy.
I was gonna say the my favorite haunted hayride gag is person sitting on the hayride who is actually an employee who
Yes.
like flips out and like
Ugh.
runs off or like somehow gets involved
A
in
plant?
the stuff. Yeah, a plant.
Yeah.
Very great. That's
Yeah.
always a nice touch.
Yeah, when it's executed perfectly, it is impressive.
My father took me to so many like haunted walk hayride things like when I was little, and it scared the living shit out of
So
me.
here's
I
the
could
question.
not wait till my kid is old enough to
Right.
go, and it's
That-
just gonna be
That's
torture.
my question. What's an appropriate age for like a haunted hayride for a kid? do you
I'm
think?
pretty
I
sure I
mean-
was like 6 or 7,
Yeah.
if I could guess.
My dad would drive us on back roads and like pretend like the car would break down and like get out and like leave me in the car.
What?
So I mean that was
What?
happening
Like
at
child
like 5 or 6.
Oh.
I mean he didn't leave. He would just like he would get out of the car and act like he was trying to fix the car.
Oh
And I would be like
God.
blocking the doors.
That's like some Arrested Development shit right there.
That's the yeah.
Well, now you know what's wrong
That's
with
why-
me.
that's why
You
you
go
always
to
leave a
therapy
note.
for that.
That is messed up.
Yeah, what's the dude in on Arrested Development who like teaches lessons?
Yeah, he's got like one arm.
Yeah.
I mean, one time my friend was having
Oh,
a birthday party and we were camping in her backyard, and my dad came from our house, which is literally like, I don't know, a half mile away, like walked through the woods and I don't know, waited till like 12 or 1 o'clock to come and shake the tent and like scream at us so that we thought we were going to be killed. There was a
That's
lot of those.
dedication.
Yeah,
It's
that's
real
wonderful.
dedication. Yeah.
All right, we've wandered afield here from
Yeah.
Eric's question.
Well, I
but,
was gonna say no haunted houses, because that just happens normally.
familial strife in Cece's family. I don't know what to tell you guys. All right. So we got 2 more. At Skizbot, our buddy Skylar asks, "Is Diego Luna one of the best names ever?" I vote yes.
It's a
Yeah.
pretty good name. Not great hair, pretty good name.
100%, yeah.
I'm gonna say it's fine. Whatever. It's and then our hero of the day, Rodrigo at Robel. He says, "Which horror villain is Schnars most like?" I vote for Jigsaw. Jig Schnars.
Jay Schnars.
Well,
we-
not
when
bad.
we did that-
It's
When we did
okay.
that cartoon years ago, we had him drawn up as Herbert West, which I always thought was a pretty good comparison. But
Very topical.
Hmm.
So
there you go.
Yeah.
Can
no,
you-
it's
Whoa, Schnars. Can you cosplay as Herbert West for the screening?
I mean, I certainly can.
All you
do
need is like
that.
a lab coat and the glasses and like a syringe with green shit in it.
Yeah, it seems fairly.
Do it.
That would be
Yes.
amazing.
All right. We'll see what we can do.
Nice.
We're gonna get in on Friday morning. Maybe we'll have to hit up a Halloween shop or something.
I
so.
would then I will cosplay as the guy from the sequel with wings on his head, and then he flies around. I think that's,
love this
I think
planning.
that's the
Deal.
sequel, right? Isn't that
All right.
isn't that Bride of Reanimator when the guy's head's flying around? I can't remember now.
Yeah, I don't
Bride of
remember either.
Reanimator. It doesn't like. I don't think that movie gets enough credit. That's a weird ass movie. Have you seen it?
Is it? It's no. I don't think I have. It's not Stuart Gordon though, is it?
No, it was Brian Usna,
Oh.
who's done some other horror stuff as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, they were like collaborators. I think Usna like wrote the first one or something.
Yeah, he worked on the first one. So like but the story is like they're still living together, and the guy's not Herbert West, has a girlfriend who dies, and then Herbert West brings her back to life as like a zombie lady, but it's like it's stylistically it's very different from the original. It's really interesting. I recommend it. I got to tell Jeffrey Combs that I like Bride of Reanimator better than Reanimator, and he told me literally no one had ever said that to him.
Huh.
So
Well, there you go.
it's my
Claim to fame.
that's my Jeffrey Combs story. Is that it?
That's all
Oh,
we got.
shit. Boom. What's next week?
Cult of Chucky.
Cult of Chucky. Chucky's back, and this time he's got a cult.
I mean, you would hope. If they don't deliver on the cult, I'm going to be very upset.
Don't forget,
Yeah.
BGH 10-year Back to Spooky School. Go to bloodygoodhorror.com, get all the info on that. Meet us out in Milwaukee, have some fun. This coming weekend, Sophie, is Tweet with BGH.
Yes, Sunday the 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome.
And Houses That October Built, I believe, is on Netflix.
Great. All right, guys, that's going to do it for Flatliners. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you next week.
See yous.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.